The global politics is in a tailspin thanks to China. America is less than 100 days away from its presidential election. And as we know, opinion polls are showing President Trump is trailing. China is closing up to Iran in a big way. Israel is getting worried if China strengthens Iran like never before. Obviously, it will be a national security calamity for Israel. Now, friends, on all these issues, here is my detailed take. I am Rajeev Sharma. In the past week or so, 4 top officials of America have come up with huge statements, very important statements, acerbic remarks against China. First, National Security Advisor, then the Attorney General, then the FBI Director, and now the Secretary of State. And as we know, Secretary of State in terms of American protocol comes number 3 after the President and Vice President. So it's a graded elevation in terms of the level of importance of the official who is talking about China riling at China, basically coming up with very caustic remarks as far as China is concerned. Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, has talked about alliance of democracies to deal with China, which a factor which I have extensively covered, not once but twice earlier in my video editorials. Well, all these 4 top officials have broadly said what? Well, I'm talking about the American top officials, the NSA, the Attorney General, the FBI Chief, and the Secretary of State. So, what have they said? That they say that China, they're talking about the rise of China, they acknowledge it's a powerful entity. They say that it's controlled by a malevolent leader, Xi Jinping, who is president for life. And they say that Xi Jinping's ideology is that of hatred, is that of control, that of expansionism, and controlling everything, repressing everything which does not follow its path. Whether it is Hong Kong, whether it is Xinjiang. So, now the most ridiculous part of the American officials making this statement, talking about the Trump doctrine to deal with China. Trump doctrine is what? Distrust and verify, as far as China is concerned. And that when Pompeo proposed a coalition of world democracies, and of course, we all know which democracies are capable of doing that, and in which US will be interested, like Japan, like Australia, like India, like UK, like Canada, like New Zealand, like Singapore, like South Korea. So, whether that takes place or not, first of all, America has to fight election. So that will take a backseat. But the most ridiculous thing which I was talking about is that while all these 4 top officials of US have talked about China and about the Trump doctrine, Trump himself has not done so. Why? everybody is tom-tomming about the same thing. Everybody is talking all bad things about China. But why Trump is keeping silent on these policy issues, on major policy shifts rather? When you're talking about coalition of democracies, alliance of democracies, that's a major thing. So the world is on the verge of Cold War 2. Now, as we know that China is cozying up to Iran in a big way, and they are already talking about an axis comprising of China, Iran, Russia, Pakistan, and Turkey, which will throw a golden ring around India. Now, when we talk about this is really it's a throwback to the original Cold War between US and USSR, which started in 50s and got accentuated every passing decade. Now, when we talk about China cozying up to Iran in a big way, this will not be without impact, without consequences, and without immediate consequences. Because Iran, when you talk about Iran, that's a tinderbox region. That's a volatile region. And Israel will not keep quiet. Israel is unlike others. There they make decisions very fast. And Israel will do something drastic. And it is capable of doing that. And once, if that happens, then the world will be on the brink of not a Cold War, but an actual war. Now, let me come to the last part of the video tutorial, which is, you see, when the last Cold War ended in 1991 with the collapse of Soviet Union and its breaking into 15 small countries. Now, a new Cold War, 3 decades later, a new Cold War is just about to enter and just about to be formalized by the international community. Now, this diplomatic war going on between US and China, they are shutting down each other's consulates. I mean, this is something serious. But the problem for the Americans is very unique. One may say that the last Cold War was ended, and when it got ended, it got ended with the breakup of Soviet Union. And now they can sit pretty, and they can say that China is bound for a similar consequence, but not quite. That will be fallacious. Why? Because that time we were talking about Russia, about Soviet Union. Soviet Union was perhaps not as powerful that time as China is today. Soviet Union was not as rich as China is today. Soviet Union was not that ambitious as China is today. Soviet Union did not pursue checkbook diplomacy as China is pursuing today. Soviet Union was a closed country. China is not a closed country. Soviet Union could be managed, could be tackled by the US-led Western community. But it is very difficult to tackle China. Why? Because Chinese have spread all over the world. They, their peoples, their industries, their companies. You see, their products, they have penetrated every part of the world. So much so that there is hardly few households will be there in the world which do not have a Chinese product. So this is the difference between Soviet Union of yore and China of today. This is the difference. If it is the Cold War II, then it is going to be really, really difficult for US. And unlike the last time, when US had a compact bloc and Soviet Union was far smaller and behind. China is matching US everywhere, not just in industry, not just in agriculture, not just in manufacturing, not just in diplomacy, but not just in space, everywhere. But China is outcompeting US in terms of checkbook diplomacy, in terms of reaching out. For example, its dealings in Central Asia, its dealings in Africa. So folks, I come to the end of this video tutorial. I hope you will like this and you will subscribe to my channel, Rajeev Kishkindha. Thank you.